All right. Don't have many open comments before I take your questions, but I'll just say with regard to House Bill 1003, obviously a priority bill. I put that in rules not to kill it. I think I will likely hear that bill in Rules Committee and try and move it forward. That's the current plan right now. So happy to take whatever questions you might have.
Calls for lawmakers to take action following Haley Busby's death. Realistically, how much could get done this session? Is that something you're talking about, maybe looking into some changes for next session?
Well, we'll certainly be talking about changes for next session, and but also talking a little bit about what might be able to be done this year. First of all, let me just say, absolutely horrific story and a tragedy. I feel for her parents. As a parent myself, I can only begin to imagine the grief that they might be experiencing right now. So I hate that for them. Senator Kyle Walker's taken a look at if there can be something done this year that might be an improvement. So we'll take a look at that. Obviously not a lot of time here in the next couple of weeks to get something done, but we're going to we're taking that very seriously.
When you say something done, do you mean something regarding perhaps a new pink alert or maybe updates to how schools teach awareness or education regarding online grooming or how to spot predators?
Yes. When the whole issue of social media we've discussed at some length here in this legislative session already. I think that's going to be part of the conversation still, because I don't think that issue is completely dead yet. I know it didn't move out of this House when we talked about it in detail, but that's going to be part of it. Whether there can be some tweak to one of the alerts that could have been helpful in this circumstance, those types of things. But yeah, I think we all need to be aware of social media and how connected we all are. In a lot of ways, that's absolutely fantastic, but in some ways that brings new risks and new dangers to our youth that maybe we don't all yet understand, including myself.
Senator Bray, we broke a story this week about issues with the Secretary of State's office, campaign filings, and the whole 9 yards. Any thoughts on how this affected the folks here in this chamber?
Well, I think there's some folks that went over and filed in the election office as an abundance of caution, but I'm not sure if everybody did, but I think there were a few that wanted to just be safe.
President Trump wants the federal government to take over elections. What do you think about that?
I think that's a state operation. I think Indiana does it really well. We've got a lot of integrity on that. And in fact, we were out in Washington, D.C. in August on a policy conversation, myself and the members of our Senate caucus and the House caucus as well. We got accolades from the White House about how we've been handling our elections. We think it's best handled in the state level.
When it comes to any concerns out of the SOS's office, did leadership tell the caucus to refile? Should there be any issues that arise? Were there any conversations about maybe you should go down if you specifically filed within the Secretary of State's office?
I fielded questions about it and just said, out of an abundance of caution, go take a look and maybe go do an amended filing. But I don't think this is going to turn into a big thing.
We have a state intervention process for struggling schools, so curious, why has the legislature in recent years turned more to district-specific legislation, and how are you deciding when the General Assembly should step in and change how a school district is governed?
Well, so, the one you're probably talking about, the ILEA bill that was heard in education this week. I mean, that IPS in the Marion County is a much bigger system. Sometimes maybe some people think that has to be dealt with differently. I just know that I wasn't involved, but a number of people over the last several months prior to session were involved in ways that could try to help make improvements to that district, their financial standing, and as well as the education of the students, most importantly. And so I think they're just trying something they think will be very helpful.
The House has amended Senate Bill 76 to make it look like last year's Fairness Act. How confident are you that the Senate will ultimately support those changes?
Yeah, so I haven't exactly seen the wording. I was aware of what they're up to, and I'm generally supportive of that idea. So we'll take a look at it when when I get a chance to see the final wording and see if it's something that we can support as well.
Speaker Houston told us this morning that he put his name as the chief sponsor of the bill to bring the Bears and build a new stadium up in Northwest Indiana. Are you looking at doing something similar?
No. I got full confidence in Senator Mishler. He is really bright and has exceptional understanding of finance, and is the perfect person to handle this on our side. He's doing a nice job of negotiating with some of the parties, and so I have full confidence in Ryan Mishler to do this well.
Do you think the Bears should contribute to the stadium, and in what range? Or we're not going to build them a free one, right?
No, we'll let those details sort itself out.
How would you describe the state of negotiations so far?
They're productive. We don't have any idea if this is going to happen. I don't have any details to give you. As I think I've said before, though, when we realized this was a possibility, we want to put our hand forward and say we'd love to do business with you. We'd love to have them. And I think, frankly, we've got a really, really, really good product here in Indiana and Northwest Indiana to house them that would be more advantageous than Illinois. So it's a great opportunity, even if it doesn't come to fruition, for us to highlight the advantages both in the tax structure and the regulatory environment and everything else of Indiana over the state of Illinois.
You guys trust the governor's office to do this right?
Excuse me?
You trust the governor's office to get this right?
There's a lot of people involved on this.
There's some concerns about anti-labor language that's in that bill right now. Is that something that could change if it were to be a deal breaker for the Bears?
Oh yeah, that conversation is going on now. I expect that to change.
We had a chance to look at House Bill 1333 yet. It's the one that deals with a 1% of the sales tax exemption would go to local governments for data center projects and take away some local zoning concerns. Where would that stand with your caucus?
I think it's going to see, if it moves forward, it's going to see substantial changes. Senator Cook, I know Senator Cook is working on that. He and I have discussed it, and so you'll see very dramatic changes to that bill if it's to move forward.
And then regarding township mergers, both your caucus and the House passed bills that do similar things, but there's a little bit of differences in there.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of difference between those two bills, a different philosophy generally, and we're working right now between the two caucuses and the leadership to see if there's support to move one particular direction over the other, because you really can't do both here. They're fairly different approaches. I like, frankly, that we've had a lot of people working on this, trying to find the best possible way, and it's nice to have some options that we can debate around as we try to craft what's the best policy for Indiana.
Governor Braun has called for a social media ban or social media restrictions following Haley Busby's death. There was a provision in Senate Bill 199 that would have pertained to social media restrictions that was taken out. Do you see that provision ultimately being added back in?
Yeah, so that provision itself, as I referenced a few minutes ago, that was taken out. I don't see that exact language being put back in. I think, though, that in light of what people are trying to do here to be helpful with this Haley Busby circumstance, is that there's some conversation that's probably back on the table with regard to social media. Whether or not we'll be able to agree on language is uncertain at this point.
And how do you regulate social media? I mean, because it's worldwide, it's global. You can have somebody in China or India, basically playing games here in Indiana.
I'm not even close to be the smart enough person to answer that question. Yeah, it's a challenge.
And how do you do that without running afoul of the First Amendment?
Well, lots of challenges. We'll take a look at that. That's obviously a really important aspect of it. We want to make sure that we're not running afoul of any constitutional rights that we have. It's part of the problem. The other challenge or the other issue has with regard to like the language in 199 was parents' rights. Shouldn't parents have the ability to decide whether or not their parent or their child engages and in what platform do they engage in? So all those things are part of the conversation.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.